So I thought I'd take advantage of the snow day and just do a few minutes to kind of briefly show you how to convert old quizzes to new quizzes. So in Canvas, one of the easiest ways to convert an old quiz to a new quiz is to just go to quizzes and click on Migrate. And when you click on Migrate, that's done. It'll convert it. The problem is, let me show you, I already migrated this one, and you have to go to Build to actually get to it, but that's behind part of my screen, so I have to click here. So when you do that, the flaw is if you have pulled questions like I do, all it tells you is there's one question being pulled from this bank, but there's nowhere to edit that bank, and all you can do is say, okay, it's pulling this question, here's how many points it's worth. If you have any typos or if you need to edit a question, you can't from a migrated quiz. So that's one of the flaws with migrating. So if everything's perfect, migrate away and you're good. But what I'm going to do is show you the other way. That was migrating. So let's see. I'm going to show you how to export a quiz and then import in a quiz. But before you export, one of the first things you have to do is rename them, because in your new quizzes, all your item banks for every single course that you teach or that you have created an item bank for, that you have a Canvas course for, show up. So like I have algebraic reasoning, I have calculus, I have honors pre-calc, and these are all question banks I've already converted. So they all show up. So a good numbering system will be useful. So step one, like all of my questions are always pooled questions. So I want question number 1 on one of my quizzes is going to pick one of these 4 questions. Well, this is on assignment 1.4. So my advice to you is create a good numbering system so that when you export, it's easier to find those in the new quizzes. So I'm going to call this is in algebraic reasoning assignment 1.4, and it is question 01, and then I just put an A since it's the first one in there, just so I can distinguish between the two if I'm having to talk about or use that question. And then I do that for every question in that question group. And unfortunately, this is very time consuming. So I'm not going to record all of this. So this is AR 1.4. I did learn the hard way about putting 01 as opposed to 1, because once you get to 10 and 11, it kind of makes a difference. So and you can't press enter, you actually have to go down and click update, and you have to find. So I'm going to do this, and I will resume the quiz once I get it all converted. So I went to a different assignment that's already got all the numbering already converted. So every question 1 has a renumbered, every question 2 is renumbered. And so now to convert to new quizzes, you have to go to settings, and step 1 is to export that quiz. So I have to go down to export. I go to settings and go to export, and then I export quiz, and I don't want to export everything. This was 2.2 inverses. So that's the one I'm going to create an export for. And then click create export, and then you have to wait a minute, and it'll convert. And then when it's ready, once it finishes, it'll also send you an email when it's done. So if you want to go do something else and work on some other project, you can, but it doesn't take too long, actually. It actually creates a download right here that you have to click on. So to download it to the computer, your device. So I'm letting this finish, and then I will download that file. Then I'll show you the next step. So it finished downloading. The blue bar went all the way across, and it shows it right here. It says new export. So when I click that, it actually just downloads it to my computer. So that is right here. You don't have to open it or anything. You can. It'll be, and you can save it wherever you need to, but I know it's in it automatically goes to defaults to the downloads folder. So now I'm going to go to quizzes and start a new quiz. And I'm going to start a new quiz this time. So click plus quiz to start a new quiz, and I want it to be the new quiz format. Then I hit submit, and I should have saved my name, but by the way, on the renumbering, one good trick is when I was doing my numbering system, I copy and paste a lot. I do all the question number, copy it, and then put an A, copy, then go to the next one, paste it, and put a B, and paste it, put a C. I'll continue that way. But this was 2.2 inverses. I can finish correcting the title later if I need to. And you can work on the dates later, you can work on it now, but then you have to go click on Build, which this for me is hard to get to because I'm put my stuff at the bottom of the screen. And okay, and there's the little webcam pictures right there in the way. So now you import in those new questions. So I have to go to the triple dots up at the top and manage item bank first. And I'm going to create a new bank. So create the new bank, and you can call it the whole, it's going to create the whole, all the questions from that assignment. So 2.2 inverse is what it's not the final name I'm going to give it, but that's the name I'm going to use for the time being. If I do 2.2, it's going to put it at the usually at the very front, but actually it'll put it, well, now where did it put it? I've lost my item bank. Oh, did I? 2.2. I want to be able to find it, so I'm going to put it at the very top. So inverses, create bank. I don't think I hit create bank for. And then it puts it right here at the first. And I'm going to go into that bank. And then once you're in that bank, we're going to import in those questions. So you click the triple dots from inside there and you choose import content and go find the file you just downloaded. So I know, in fact, you can either drag it in if you have another screen, or you can just click here and click on it. And I know mine was in the downloads, and it is the you can tell I've been working on this for a while, on this process. And it's the very first one. You click, and it'll give it a second. Sometimes it goes slower than others. Then you click import, and you have to wait on it. And when this gets through importing, I'll show you the next step. So it gives you a green dot, or green arrow, green bar of progress, but then you still have to wait a second. So I may have started the recording too soon. I thought it'd be ready for this next step. Once it imports it in, gives you the green bar that it did it, then there will be a done button or finished button. So I guess I'll pause and wait till that to get ready. After the green bar, it says success, then you click done. Here is your entire question bank. Now, I learned, since I do pooled questions, I need to group them, and so this is where I create my separate little groups. So this is Honors Pre-Cal Assignment 2.2, and it's showing question 16. It usually starts kind of like reverse order. So I'm going to click this one, and this is where I'm going to give them the official name, and I'm going to put this in Honors Pre-Cal Assignment 2.2, and this is question 16. So I'm creating a new group. So I created one big group of everything, and it might be useful to keep a copy here, but I move them all out of the way. But if you want an item bank for your entire assignment, so like if you need to pull questions for a test later, you could leave them all in here, but I'm just going to leave them in separate little banks. So I uncheck that box. That's up to you if you want to have it in two different places, but I'm going to move it to a different question. And then here's the nice part. Once you move one, we're still on 16, so now I can move the next, and now I don't have to type it in. I just go find the Honors Pre-Cal 2.2, and we should have a number 16 with the one we just did. And then, oh, I forgot the decimal. I'll fix that in a minute. So, and then for any others in that question bank, it's easy now because it'll keep that item bank available. And then you do that for every single item bank is what I found out. It's pre-planning up front made this process much easier for to make the new quiz, and I'll show you how to make the new quiz once I finish. To do the next one, I'm going to do, and this is where I would copy and paste, Honors Pre-Cal 2.2, and then this is question 15, the group 15 for that, and then I'm going to copy all of those. The first time, it moves it. The second time, it still shows 16, but if you click the pull down arrow, 15 should be the one right above it now. And you do that all the way to question 1, or whatever system you want to use. So I will be back when I'm done, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I just finished moving all of them over except for the last group. And what I'm going to show you is if I click on item banks, it takes me back to all the item banks. And for some reason, that one's not lit. The 2.2 should be listed at the top, so I'm refreshing the screen. Oh, item banks. Let's go here and okay. Oh, because I'm in the ones. 2.2. There it is. So this one had 0 questions. So that was it. Did make that one earlier that I thought messed up. So let me make sure that one's empty first. That one's empty. So item banks. Scroll down. The first 2.2 was my goof up, so I can delete that one. And the second one is actually the last group of questions that I need to renumber. And instead of renumbering and moving them all out of it, why not just less to have to move if I do, and I did Control V. Oh, it does not like clicking outside the box, so be careful. It goes away if you click anywhere outside the box. So Shift Home, Control V, and this was question 1. And so that's how I copied and pasted every single time I made a new question bank, so I didn't have to redo them all. So now we have a blank quiz, and it's ready to add quizzes. And like where I just was, I could have been up here where I could have managed item banks, but you can click right here and it pops it up on the side. And this was Honors Pre-Cal, which, let's try page 3. This was assignment 2.2, 2.201. So if I click on that, it shows you all the questions in this bank, which is all the question 1s. And if I hit the all random, and this is why I had to sort them into separate groups. If I did it from one big group, it would put the entire assignment. So I have all the question 1s now, and then it says, okay, it's going to make 5 questions. And if you click on it, you can either take this away or you can click on it and say, I want it to randomly pick one question out of those, and how many points are they worth? And if I do 16 questions, they're always worth 6.25, gets you to 100 points. And then I can go to item bank and go back to, I was in that one where it keeps you in the last item bank you were. I'm at assignment 2.2. Unfortunately, you have to scroll. So it's nice when they're at the top. And then I want all the question 2s. So I click all. Oops, I accidentally double tapped by mistake. I was hoping it didn't catch that. So let me take question 2. I only need it one time, so delete out the extra group. I'm going to randomly select one question, and you could make all the separate ones and then do it this way, and you can click or you can type, and there is question 2. And I'm going to finish creating that, and then I can go to settings. And one of the nice features about new quizzes, you can shuffle questions, you can shuffle answers. If you want the questions moved around, I like one question at a time, and I like allowing multiple attempts, because that way if students redo it, they're not going to get the same questions. And then when you're done, you just hit return. So I'll finish creating this one later off the screen. Now, some issues I have found is when you have multiple fill-in-the-blank questions with multiple fill-in-the-blank on old quizzes, it look like this. When you convert that to new quizzes, it looks like this. It cannot do multiple fill-in-the-blank questions. So yeah, that is one of the flaws from old quizzes to new quizzes. They don't have the multiple fill-in-the-blanks. So one of the workarounds is to use what's called a stimulus question. On a stimulus question, you can make one question, and I did it this was my temporary fix for now. I made one question and said, okay, I want the first blank. And then if I hit next, it says, okay, now what's the second blank? And then you can hit next. And if you don't do one question per page, all these would be listed on top of each other, but it has the same prompt on the left, the same stimulus, and then all the questions could be on the right. So then the final one would be part D. So I had to make them all worth the same total point value as what it was originally. But that is one way to work around the old questions and the new questions not being the same. And the only other main issue I found is when you take a new quiz. Let's say I made a new assignment and I made a mistake, and I made it make them in my sandbox. Well, I made it in my sandbox. I found a change, and I've already copied it over to the new quiz, to my actual live course. I made a change in the sandbox. When you copy the new quiz over, the new quiz does not always copy over. It will not give you the updated version. It keeps the original. And I fought with this and had to reach out to Canvas support, and found out that on a new quiz, if you edit in like a sandbox, you have to actually duplicate that assignment, and then you have to copy the new quiz, copy the duplicated one. If you copy the original one, it keeps the original version before you made any edits to it. So unfortunately, that's one difference from the old quizzes and new quizzes. Old quizzes, you just make a change, copy it over, and it replaced it, unless you deleted questions. Found that it did not delete questions. But on new quizzes, you have to duplicate the assignment. So make any changes you need to, duplicate that assignment, get rid of the old one, go to new quizzes, get rid of the old one, and then you can copy over import in the new quiz. those are the main issues I've found so far, but those I think are the best way to convert to new quizzes and where you have all your question banks available. And good luck. Oh yeah, one last thing that I wanted to tell you was in the item banks and new quizzes, one of the nice features is if you find a typo or a mistake, if you fix it in the item bank, it will now be fixed in anywhere where that question is linked to. So all the other assignments, you don't have to manually fix it in one assignment, fix it in a second assignment, fix it in a third. So fixing the item bank actually saves you in the long run and fixes it in a lot of different places. So that's one last little tip I wanted to tell you.